Okay, well, I'm very pleased to meet you this afternoon. My name's Sarah Hiller. I'll be your celebrant, as you know. Um, Sarah, your name?
Lovely to meet you, Sarah. Claire.
Pleased to meet you.
Your name?
Peter.
Okay, so before we begin, I just want to make sure that you've got some photo identification and also some other identification documents because we've got to make sure that you've got the legal requirements for marriage, and I need to check that you've got that identification. So that can either be by way of a valid birth certificate or passport, and then some photographic ID like your driver's license. Have you both got those today?
Well, I have.
Yes.
Yes. What have you got with you?
Well, I've got my passport, my current passport, and my current driver's license.
Thank you. And yours?
Current driver's license
Yes.
and my passport.
Okay, great. So I'll just like to take you through the ordering of our interview today. So what we're going to do is fill in two forms. One is the notice of intended marriage or notice of intention to marry, and the other form is a declaration that you haven't been, that there's no legal impediment to your marriage. And it's really important that these forms are filled in correctly, otherwise it can lead to falsification, which can lead to fines and even imprisonment if you don't fill them in correctly. And the same applies to me for subject to liability if they're not filled in correctly. So it's fundamental that we fill the forms in correctly. And we also need to look at the legal ramifications of marriage, which is covered in a brochure that I'll give you, and any other matters or concerns that you have today regarding the information I provide you with or arising out of this booklet.
Yep.
Do you have any questions at this point in time? Did you want to, I hear that your car alarm's going off. Did you want to go and address that while we just have a bit of a break?
Sorry.
That's okay. So, can you think of any questions while Peter is out?
I haven't really got any questions. I'm just really impressed with the importance that is being placed on everything being legal.
Okay.
Because I know I do, and Peter does too, want it to be
legally valid, yes. So I suppose the first thing that I need to do is ask you, have either of you been married before?
No.
No. Right.
And you're both over 18?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, I think we can then go ahead and fill in the notice of intended marriage. So we might start with the bride first, if that's okay.
Yes, I'm happy with that.
All right. So could I ask you for your surname, please?
Hiller.
That's going to be your married name.
Oh, I'm sorry, my current
yes
name, Pentecost.
Could you spell that out, please?
Pentecost.
Thank you. And your given names?
Claire, Claire, Josephine.
Thank you. And your sex?
Female.
Thank you. And what's your occupation?
Teacher.
So that's your usual occupation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. I'd also now like to know what your usual place of residence is, so the full address of where you are living at the moment.
31 Adelaide Street, South Hobart, 7004.
Thank you. So you've said to me that you've not been legally married before, so you're not widowed or divorced or anything like that.
No.
So we call that never validly married.
No.
Okay, could you tell me, please, where you were born, your birthplace, like the city or town and the state or territory?
Hobart, Tasmania.
Okay, thank you for that. And your date of birth?
27th of the 11th, 43.
1943.
Yes.
Thank you. And now we need to know your father's name in full.
Walter Frederick.
The usual spelling?
Frederick.
Yes.
Pentecost.
Same spelling as your surname.
Yes.
And your mother's maiden name in full, please.
Valma Genevieve Stanton.
Genevieve, how would you spell that?
Genevieve.
Thank you. And the country of birth of your father?
Hobart, Tasmania.
So his country of birth was Australia?
Yes.
And your mother's country of birth?
Australia.
Great. And you're not related to each other?
No.
Okay. All right. Then you can sign here and I can witness that. Thank you. Just need to have a look at your ID now, your passport number and your driver's license number, just for the bride at present. I'll have a look at yours later once we've organised your documents. So I need to have a look at your passport number there. Okay.
Just one moment. N9 125 984.
Great, and we need to check that, yes. Yep, and that's your driver's license, and it's E10225. Good. So now, you've told me, well, prior to the interview, that you were getting married on the 1st of February next year, and that's for sure.
That's right.
At Long Beach, Sandy Bay Road.
Yes.
Sandy Bay. Okay, great. All right then, we'll now go to the groom, and we need to fill in similar information, well, same information for you. And could you tell me your surname, please?
Hiller. H-I-L-L-E-R.
Okay, and your first name, please, Peter.
Peter Edward.
Male, and your usual occupation.
Teacher.
Could you please let me know what your present or usual place of residence is, the full address for that?
42 Maryville Esplanade.
How do you spell Maryville? Is it M-A-R-I-E? Sorry, M-A-R-I-E-V-I-L-L-E?
Correct.
Esplanade. Sandy Bay?
Sandy Bay, yes.
7005.
Correct.
And you've not been widowed, divorced, and never validly married?
No.
Okay, thank you. And what about your place of birth, please?
Devonport, Tasmania.
Oh, that's a nice place. I have lived there for some 21 years myself. And your date of birth?
11th of May, 1939.
You are leaving it quite a while to get married, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes.
We've put it off for quite some time.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so your father's name?
Percy Ralph Hiller.
Percy, P-E-R-C-Y?
Yes.
Ralph, normal spelling?
Yes.
And your mother's maiden name in full?
Edna Alice Cole.
Oh, my daughter's second name is Alice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. Cool. Okay, and where was your father born? What
New
country?
Zealand.
And your mother?
Australia.
Thank you. So you're not related to each other, you've already said.
Yes. No,
And could I have your signature there, please? And I'll witness that. Then I will have a look at your passport and your
okay.
photographic ID. Thanks. So if you sign there,
Okay.
thanks. Okay, thank you very much for that. And I will witness that signature here on the 23rd of the 11th, 2017. Now next I'm required to have a look at your passport so that we can see that that's genuinely yourself. And what number would that passport number be?
This number is T621 546. Quite good looking.
And thank you, I'll just check. That's it, yes. And your driver's license, please. Thank you. Your driver's license.
Put some hair on it.
Okay, thanks for that. We seem to have completed that form now. Under the legislation, I am, however, required to give you a document referred to in subsection 42(5)(a) of the Act, and it's called the Happily Ever After, the Happily Ever Before and After document or brochure. I'll give each of you a copy of that brochure. Now, what that brochure does, it gives you important information about the process of getting married, some of the legal consequences of getting married, and it's strongly advisable that you have some relationship support service, such as a marriage counsellor or dispute resolution service, prior to marriage to discuss some of the ramifications of some of the considerations that you might not have thought of relating to the marriage, such as how many children you might have, who might be the person who intends to work, who is going to do the domestic chores in the house, how you're going to resolve issues that might arise out of looking after other family members as they age, that kind of thing. Some of the things that people don't actually think of when they're just sort of thinking about marriage. So what I might have you do is just, I've got some glasses of soda water over there and some cake. If you would like to just move over there for a moment, read through the brochure, enjoy the refreshments, and I'll get out. We've still got 15 minutes left of our interview. I'll get out the next form. So if you have any questions for me whilst you move over there and look through the brochure, I'd be happy to answer those while I start to get out the Declaration of No Impediment to Legal Marriage, which we'll also need to file in order for there to be a valid marriage. Okay, so do either of you, I'll let you have a few minutes to look through the brochure and ask any questions. So in the meantime, I can get underway with the declaration of no legal impediment to marriage. So what this form does is it actually allows you to show the registry and to show those in authority that there is no legal impediment to your marriage, such as neither of you are married to another person, you're not in a prohibited relationship, you're both of marriageable age, and that there'd be no other circumstance that would prevent you from marrying. So what I will do is, firstly, I will ask Claire, do you have any questions, Claire, in relation to the brochure I've provided you with?
No, I think it's very, very clear.
Okay, so
Very
I'm
happy with it.
okay. So I will now ask you again what your full name is and address and occupation for the purposes of filling in the declaration of no impediment to marriage.
My name is Claire Josephine Pentecost.
Address?
31 Adelaide Street, South Hobart.
And you are a teacher, correct?
Yes, I'm a teacher.
And now I need you to be able to declare that you're a person who has never been validly married. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I've had opportunities, but I haven't wanted to take them up.
Thank you. And you believe, as part of your declaration, that there is no impediment to your marriage with Peter Edward Hiller
Yes.
of 42 Maryville Esplanade, Sandy Bay, who is also a teacher.
Yes.
Now, in making that declaration, you're saying that in particular, neither of you are married to another person, neither of you are in a prohibited relationship, both of you are marriageable age, 18 and above, and there is no other circumstance that would be a legal impediment. If that's correct for you, Claire, you may make this declaration under the Marriage Act and sign here, and I can, if you come over here and do that, and I, as a civil celebrant, can witness that. So if you want to sign there, and I can authorise that that declaration has now been made. Thank you for that, that's correct, and that's before me, and my signature there, and my name here. Great, and that's it for your paperwork. If you'd like to sit there and just wait for Peter to go through his.
Yes, thank you
and
very
please, if there's any questions you have or questions about when we next meet, making appointments, that kind of thing, please let me know. So now we can move to you, Peter. We're now filling in the declaration of no legal impediment to marriage. So your name, just confirming your name, address and occupation. That Peter Edward Hiller.
Correct.
G2 Maribel Esplanade.
Correct.
Sandy Bay.
Yes.
And you're a teacher.
Yes.
Okay. Like Claire, you're a person who has never been validly married.
Correct.
And do you believe that there is no legal impediment to your marriage with Claire Josephine Pentecost?
Yes.
She is of 31 Adelaide Street, South Hobart. And is also a teacher. So where do you both teach?
Well, I teach at Rose Bay.
Uh-huh.
High.
Yes.
And I teach at Taroona High.
Oh, good. So, in believing that there is no impediment to your marriage, you are declaring that neither of you have been married to another person, neither of you are in a prohibited relationship, that you're both of marriageable age, and there is no other circumstance that would be a legal impediment to the marriage. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Great. Could you come through here, Peter, please, and sign the making of the declaration along the dotted line here, and I can authorise that as a civil celebrant.
Okay.
So just... So just along here, next to Claire's. Thank you, and I can, you may take a seat back next to Claire if you like, and I can sign that as a civil celebrant. Okay, so what happens now is, if you have a look at your brochures, you can see that a completed notice of intention to marry has to be given at least 1 month before the intended marriage. Now, you are 1 month before the marriage, so I filed this one with the births, deaths and marriages, and you've provided me with the requisite documents, and I've seen those, so that's all good. You've both signed the declaration of no impediment to legal marriage, that you're of marriageable age, and that there's no legal impediment to your marriage. And on your actual wedding day, the 1st of February 2018, I will ask you and your partner to sign up to, and your witnesses, you need 2 witnesses who are at least 18 years of age. So you choose them yourselves, and I'm required you to sign actually 3 copies of the marriage certificate. You'll, after the wedding, the documents will be registered again with births, deaths and marriages. Therefore, it's really important that you can see that it's really important that all forms are filled in correctly, so the correct particulars are included within the on the register, because you'd hate to get back something that wasn't correct. Before you marry, you might want to note some important things in relation to like healthcare card or pension card if you're on welfare. I imagine that you're probably not, given that you're both teachers, so that perhaps wouldn't be an issue. Whether or not you're going to change your name or not, and also the ramifications marriage has on a will. there are also issues. You don't have any citizenship issues from what I can see, but there might be taxation issues now that you've after you marry, you become a couple, so your income will be like your taxable incomes will have an effect on each other, whereas when you were single they didn't. But also, I'd really like to press the importance of consideration of going to have some marriage education, because those couples who, those organisations who provide that are really excellent in terms of looking at some of the issues that you might face with your prospective marriage. So I've included in your little brochures some more information about Relationships Australia and the advice line. So at the very least, I mean, I'd suggest calling the advice line, or at least talking about some of the topics that might be of concern or issue to you prior to the marriage. Have you decided on who will be your bridesmaids and best men in relation to the wedding?
Yes, I think we have.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so they'll be they're both over 18 as well, and there'll be your attendance as well as the signatories to the wedding. Okay. All right. We've still got a couple of minutes before we have to wrap this up. So I guess the next thing I have to ask you is when you would like to touch base and give me some more information about what you'd like in your in relation to your vows, in relation to the poems, you know, the order of the ceremony, colours, banners, what rituals you'd like, that kind of thing. So can we make an arrangement? Could you just check in your diaries, and I'll check in mine too, when you'd like to meet again in relation to the marriage, because it is coming up fairly soon, like it's only a few months away. So you probably have some of those things well organised already. So I'll file this document, and when would you like to, can you just check some dates there?
Yes.
And I'll check my diary too. And would you like to book another time now, or would you like to ring and book a time?
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
What are the critical dates in relation to your situation and the time that we organise these things, because we'd like to cooperate?
Yes, well, we need some time to organise a run through of the ceremony if you want that. So we can have like a dress rehearsal, a type of, or we don't have to bother with that if you don't want to. We just have to make sure that we're on the same page in relation to the ceremony. So what I usually do is I have a meeting with the couples, and you tell me what you want and who's going to be doing what readings. I put it all together, draft it out, and then I provide you with a copy, and you tell me whether you want any changes to that. So really that needs to be, I would say, at least 1 month before. So we probably need to book in, so you probably need to put all that together if you haven't done so already, and we then need to run through that.
Also, early in January would
Yes.
be a good time for us to meet with you to discuss those issues.
And does it suit best on a weekend or during the week? Oh, you're on
Holidays
break now,
at
so
the moment, yeah.
Okay, well, how about the 5th of January? Could you check whether that suits you, the 5th of January?
Yes, I think that's okay with me.
Morning or afternoon?
With you. I prefer afternoon. What about you?
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's see what I've got. Okay, I've got a 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock on that day?
Yep.
Would you like an appointment card with that time, or
yes.
will you remember it?
No, I'd very much like an appointment card, please.
Okay. All right. So, would you like an appointment card too?
Yes, I might need one. I'm a little older and my memory's getting...
Yes? Okay. All right, well, let me know if you want any change to that. Otherwise, I suggest you get as much organised as possible, and I'll just fit in with you. If you want to send me an email or anything like that about any of the particulars of the ceremony, please do so as well, so that we can make our next appointment shorter if you've already organised certain things, and I can start to draft up the ceremony and anything like it to make it to expedite the next appointment. All right, well, have a lovely Christmas, won't you? And I will see you in the new year for further plans with your wedding. How exciting.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Yes,
all right, it's been lovely to meet you both. I'll just shake your hand again. Thank you.
Thanks. I think
Thank
you did a really great job.
Oh, thank you. All right, we'll see you in the new year. Bye, Claire and Peter.
Bye.